Hello, my friends, and welcome back to episode 50 of Coffee with Carl. 50 episodes is pretty crazy, and this is a bit of a milestone. I'd say that 100 is probably like the big one that everybody counts. You know, if you get 100 subscribers, 100 whatever, 100 videos, that's when you start really counting. And originally I had planned on doing something special for this 50th episode, but I gotta tell you, my mind is kind of stapped. I can't think of anything that I could do. So we're just gonna kind of do the normal thing. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, yeah, it would be great. Okay, let me just back up a little bit. If I had all the time in the world, or just more spare time, I could have possibly lined up something like a guest, having Albert on or something like that. But things are so busy and hectic, more than I like. I mean, and I like a certain amount of stuff going on. I really do. I appreciate that. But I don't know. I am just feel like I'm really burning the candle at both ends. And this starts to happen occasionally. And it actually starts happening around this time of year typically. Because number one, this is when views are the highest, so I'm always trying to put out content and trying to sort of feed the machine. I don't feel so bad necessarily about missing an episode or missing an upload in June, when nobody's really watching and nobody really cares about boots and jackets and stuff like that. But when it comes to this time of year, I want to put out the best stuff I possibly can. And all of that stuff takes a ton of work. That wax jacket video that I came out with last week was a pain. And as I've described many times before, anytime you're going to do a roundup of video, type of video where you're going to compare things, it's very difficult because you have to do, however many pieces are in that video, you have to do that many times more work because each one needs to be recorded in the same way. I like to show the same things. I don't know if you noticed that, but if you watch back in that video, I'll show the zipper and I show it from the same angle, using the same lens and everything like that. And then I'll go on to the next one. And just so you can get an apples to apples comparison. My whole goal there is to really, hopefully, give you the next best thing to having all these things in front of you and feeling them and touching them and seeing what they look like so that you can get a better idea. The problem is that often on everybody's different websites, these things look different. How many times have you ordered something and it comes in the mail and you go, wait a minute, this isn't even close. This doesn't look anything like it. And there is a certain amount of artistic license, I think, that you can take with your product photography and stuff like that, which is okay. But without a baseline, without comparing them all next to one another, it can be kind of difficult to figure out which one suits you best. So that's the goal there. And I think it was a success. I think that video did really well. The one bit of feedback that I got back, which really is actually justified, is that I compared the Filson Aberdeen, which is a lighter weight jacket, to a whole bunch of other ones, which are a little bit heavier, when Filson does have heavier weight stuff. The reason I did that, though, is that I kind of wanted to include Filson, and I had a budget to spend on that video. And I wanted to spend that budget on smaller brands. Now, everybody knows Filson. Everybody knows Barber. And so you could find all kinds of stuff on any of their models if you want to. But how many videos are there out there about Tin Duck Denim or Thetty or Bradley Mountain, any of those things? There aren't. So you got to remember these jackets were $350, $450. And I had a certain amount of money that I was able to spend, thanks to the patrons, by the way. They are the ones who are making these videos possible to do. And anyway, so thank you to them, of course. But so when I looked at it, I really, rather than spend money on a Filson short tin cloth cruiser to compare to the rest, I just, I wanted to spend my money on the smaller shops. Especially a brand like Tin Duck Denim, which, come to find out, is one person. That makes all the difference in the world. And to me, if I could include that jacket there and that video gets a lot of views and it provides him with more orders, then that's, I think, a net positive versus buying a jacket that everybody kind of already knows about from a well-known brand. And so that's the decision that I made. You may not agree with it, and that's okay. I do take the constructive criticism and feedback to heart. I do. But it's a choice that I made. I wanted to include Filson. I had that jacket, and in comparison to the others, I still stand by it being kind of the worst one. The other thing is that a lot of people like to point out different models from each of the brands that I included, and I knew that going into this was going to be a problem because, yes, you could choose any model from any of them and say this one's a little bit better or that one's a little bit better. And you know, for example, I chose the Rogue Territory Hunter Supply jacket because it was new and it was interesting and a little bit different. Where, from what I understand, they actually have a couple of other wax jackets, which are probably a little bit more something that I would like and probably would rank a little bit higher. So don't forget that my opinion is just that. So the way that that video was structured was very intentional, that I gave you all of the facts about the product, right? The weight, the price, where it's made, the finish, the lining, all that stuff right off the bat. And I gave you a little sort of snippet of that. Then I gave you a little bit of how it fits and using myself as a baseline. Who else am I going to use? And then I waited till the end to sort of do my opinion, so that if you wanted to just watch and get the facts about something, you certainly could. And then I tried to withhold my opinion until the end, where I kind of ranked them. And again, I think that my ranking is sound. You know, I think the Filson of that group was probably the worst. If I had the short tin cloth cruiser, where would that have ranked? I don't really know. If I had the Bradley Mountain, which I really wanted to get, but I mean, I had already spent several $1,000s getting these jackets. And it was just something that unfortunately I had to leave behind. Then where would that, I don't know where that would have ranked either. One thing's for sure though, I think that I probably will repeat this video again next year with different brands. And of course, you know, you're always going to get those people because I didn't realize how many wax jackets there were, but I certainly got plenty of comments saying, how could you have forgotten brand XYZ? And it's not that I forgot them. It's just that I made choices. And again, I like small shops. I like small workshops and people who are directly affected by your purchase. To me, that means a lot. So, you know, I mean, next year, maybe I will. Maybe I'll do one with GNU. Maybe I'll do one with, you know, a bunch of these other brands that people have mentioned and then compare them. And then maybe take this year's winners and compare them to next year's winners and then really come up with like the best of the best. I think it's going to be hard to beat some of the ones that are in the top section. And also, don't forget, it's all dependent on my own use and my opinion, right? Like, I don't like the long duster style type of jacket. That's not my thing. There's a couple of other cool brands, especially ones from Australia that people have pointed out. So there's a lot of great stuff out there. And I think that if anything, the success of that last video, I'll probably do it again. And maybe it'll be similar to my, my flannel video. Every year I want to do a different flannel video, and I have had no problem finding a bunch of new flannels that come out or new brands that I've never heard of. And oftentimes it's because people will make that recommendation to me. So thank you for that. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. 50 episodes. I guess it's special enough as is. I'm here with my Wonder Looper sweatpants, so I mean, it's going to be a good day anyway. But let's get to some of the new releases. There were a whole bunch. Again, Ironheart tends to drop their stuff, which is really cool. They came out with two this week. I think it was a green tartan and a blue tartan of their slubby flannel and ultra heavy flannel. And then there was a few other things, but the first thing I wanted to talk about today is actually a giveaway that I'm doing with a bunch of pals of mine. And this is a really cool one just because it's, well, I'm included with a whole bunch of other great publishers and people like that. And they're giving away $1,000 worth of goods from Iron and Resin. And you remember the Iron and Resin cruiser jacket that was on my rack there, scored very high. The one thing I wish it was made in the USA, but if you don't care about that, you could get an excellent jacket for a lot less than the other ones up there. Just watch out for the sizing. So this here is, let me kind of read you the copy that they gave me so that you can know exactly what it is. It says here, the fall can be a time for new beginnings, and Iron and Resin could give you the opportunity to start an entirely new wardrobe with our collaborative giveaway to announce their new Overland Weekender bag. A waxed canvas and leather beauty, lined with high-vis orange like a vintage M1A jacket that can hold everything you need for your next adventure. So I've teamed up with Heddles, Cool Material, Stridewise, and Carryology, and of course, Iron and Resin to give away this prize pack of nearly $1,000 that includes the waxed cruiser jacket that I mentioned, 2 of their stock tees, a pair of double-knee journeyman pants, the all-new Overland Weekender bag, which all total up to about $1,000. And all you have to do is enter by dropping your email on the page. I'm going to leave a link below before Monday, November 11th. And then one lucky winner will be notified by email and have 24 hours to confirm their shipping and size info. All entrants will be signed up for all partners' newsletters, which you can unsubscribe from at any time. So basically, that's what it is. And I want to show you because Iron and Resin was really cool and actually sent these products to me so that I could show you here on camera. So that's what we're going to do right now. All right, so this is the big one. This is kind of the thing that they're talking about giving away. And let me just go ahead and unsnap that there. What it is a Weekender bag, but I like it because it's a little bit smaller than some of the other Weekender bags. And as they mentioned, the orange lining within. The nice thing about this lining, not only that it kind of looks like an M1A, but it also makes finding stuff inside of it really easy. A lot of times when brands put dark linings in their bags, it's like an abyss and you just lose things inside of it, and that's not cool. So inside of this Weekender bag, you have a zipper component or compartment on one side, or a component, whatever you want to call it. You have a zipper compartment on this side as well. They are leather lined, which is cool, so that looks really tidy. And besides that, there's not a whole lot. It does have a hard bottom, so that's kind of cool. Has these little brass feet, which is nice, but don't put this on the trunk lid of your car. Okay, that's the one thing, so just be careful. But that is nice because it does kind of, where you set it down, it's a little bit of reinforcement. That's really nice. So they also have the kind of traditional design of the wraparound handles that go up here, with a keeper on top, sort of like the old Filsons used to have, if you remember those days. My old Filson has it, and I actually always liked this kind of thing. Rather than 2 loose handles, just makes it really easy to pick up. And everything else on it is the stuff that you would have come to know, brass and leather, and really, this, now if this is waxed, but this is like the really, really, really thick. This is some crazy heavy-duty stuff. I'd like to know a little bit more about it. And what weight that is, because this is like some serious stuff. So they got their brass zippers here. These are nice smooth zippers. That's one thing I always look for, is like, how smooth is that zipper? Can I do it with one hand without a problem? And yeah, with this I can. It's a 2-way zipper as well, so it comes up this way as well. On the outside, you have a zippered pocket on the side. I always liked one of these. I don't know why brands don't include a zippered pocket on the side. First of all, this is great for things like a passport or your ID or anything like that you may need quick access to. This is also lined in that same orange, which is nice, so it makes it not only smooth to go ahead and slide things into it, but also bright so you can see, which is nice. So this here is this is their new Weekender, and this thing's awesome. I also like that it's a little bit smaller. You see that? Like some of these bags that I get, they are enormous. And I'm like, I'm not moving away. I'm going away for like a weekend. And this is exactly what you would get with this. So now if I had to kind of like get nitpicky about it, they did something interesting here, which is a cotton lining on this side and then a leather on that side. I'm used to a fully leather strap. But then again, there's nothing wrong with this. It's just a little bit different. There's your shoulder pad there. These things are always a pain because they just slide around on you. But that's the one thing I saw, and I was like, huh, why would they do that? But then again, if you had this over your shoulder, I'll bet you that doesn't slide around as much as smooth leather. So maybe that's why they did it. But either way, this is their new Weekender coming out very soon, and you have a chance to win this. Along with that, here is their stock tee. And this is, I mean, it's called the stock tee because it's basically as simple as you can get, right? It's a white tee right here with a chest pocket, and it's just dead simple, nice and soft, you know, 100% premium cotton, made in the USA, so it's hard to not like that. And these are their Journeyman double knee pants, and I like these because they've done a couple of different things, all right? First of all, this color and that fabric, there's a lot of nice texture to it. It has a great I don't know. So like painters always wear white pants. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but I assume it's because they use a lot of white paint. First of all, but do you see the light coming in over here? Holy moly, I'm really getting covered in it. But these have big, big pockets. Nice fifth pocket there. That's actually big enough. Like I could put my whole hand in that fifth pocket. And now that's an actual usable fifth pocket rather than like a Zippo pocket. But they have a very old school look about them. See, like even that red thread that goes around there, it's pretty cool. Big, look at this, you know, like stuff like this. They print iron and resin on the inside pocket there. Comes with an extra shank snap there in case you're eating a little too much of the roach coach and you pop off the button there. I mean, hey, we've all done it before. Double knees, hammer loop, side pocket. These side pockets, I always use those. As a matter of fact, I usually will put a razor knife in there. That's something that I get used to, and I have a hard time like not doing or when I don't have it. The traditional kind of carpenter's pant layout where you have this sort of angled pocket here and then another one down there. Now I would like to know sort of what the thought process is behind this. I think it may just be so that you can have a higher cut pocket and then a lower one, but to me, that always gets a little confusing when I'm actually using them. I almost never have anything that's this long, so I always end up using this pocket here. But I'd love to know kind of like what the story is behind that. We have rivets for reinforcements. Their double knee design is a full chap design, so it comes all the way up. Sometimes double knees are simply at the knee, so it's like a little section of like 1 foot of fabric at the knee, but I like this chap design because it goes all the way up, because a lot of times you'll be working on things on your lap. If you've ever taken a carburetor or something like that you're going to work on in close proximity and you kind of set it down, it's nice to have this double layer here. One of the things I thought was interesting is that these do not have clean outs at the bottom. Most double knees will have a clean out at the bottom. These don't. It's also a spot you can put knee pads in, but yeah, I was impressed with these because they were just really different, really interesting, and it was something that I hadn't really seen before, especially dealing with workwear brands. So these are 100% cotton, made in Pakistan, and then of course we have their cruiser jacket. I just did a whole video on that. If you want to see that, you can certainly go and check it out. But I think that was a great jacket. I am actually pretty upset that that didn't fit me, because that would be one that I would certainly wear a lot. And somebody had commented on that wax jacket video saying that they've worn theirs as a motorcycle riding jacket and have gotten caught in the rain, and that waterproof membrane that's between the shell fabric and the inner lining really does work and kept them nice and dry. So that's good to hear. And so anyway, you can win all of this stuff by just clicking a link. And the cool thing about this, right? So let's look at what you're really doing here, okay? Because I'm not one to bullshit you. I'm not going to pull the wool over your eyes. This is not like a free lunch. The thing that we're getting out of it, myself, Stridewise, Heddle's cool material, and then actually no, that's an iron resin, is that you sign up to our newsletters. And if you don't want to do that anymore, you could easily unsubscribe. So it's a pretty easy thing to do. It will help us out. One of the things that helps me out with the newsletter kind of thing is the fact that I can actually reach you and I can tell you about new things that came out, new videos. There's a lot of value in a newsletter. So anyway, go check it out. $1,000 worth of stuff is pretty good for just doing that, in my opinion. And it's a really cool thing to do. So that's why I hopped on with them. Let's get to the new releases. All right, Duck Feet gave me a coupon code for you to use that gives you 20% off. 20% that's a lot. And Duck Feet so I got their Arhus or Arhus or whatever you call it. They're like, it's not English, so I don't know what the hell, I don't know what they're saying. But anyway, it is my favorite casual winter boot. Would I want to walk all day in them? Nah, probably not, because the footboard's pretty flat, but you could always add an insole if you wanted to. But these are the real deal. They actually use wool on the inside. They use nice stitched down construction on the outside. I did a whole video about this pair, and I'm looking forward to wearing them again. They're really, really nice. They come in a ton of colors. You can pull them on. You can cinch them up if you want to. I keep mine by the back door, and if I'm going out on a walk with the dog, or just taking her in the backyard, or just going out for an errand, I throw these things on, and I've worn them all day without a problem. They are really nice, very toasty, and You get a lot of absorption from that natural crepe sole as well. So 20% off over there at Duck Feet if you use code Carl M. And I don't know when it stops, so you may want to jump on it sooner than later. I'm not really sure when it ends. So Dehen or Dehen 1920 came up with a new jacket. I put the wrong link here for some reason, and but basically what it is they more or less refined one of their jackets, and I thought it was called their cargo jacket. And what now it has top entry and side entry pockets, which thank God, really, really glad that they did that, because if you like an A1 style jacket, you either will use your pant pocket if you need to because it's a little bit higher, but I always liked the idea of the side entry pockets, and it was one of the things that I really liked about that Tom Beckby jacket was the fact that it had those, and it's just such a functional design that really doesn't detract from the look. I'm not sure why more companies don't do it. Now, this is of course expensive, and it's also probably one of the best, jackets of this type that you could possibly get. They just, I mean, Dehen, everything that they make that I've bought before has been absolutely top notch. I love their shawl collar sweater jackets. I have 2 of them. I'm thinking about buying a third. They're just a staple for me. I'm usually wearing those in the wintertime. So those and my Duck Feet Arhus are kind of like, those are the things, that's my uniform. And I just don't think it gets much better. So anyway, they had that jacket come out. I don't think a whole lot of you going to buy it though. I'll tell you, I saw it. I thought it was great. I put it on the list and I thought, I'll bet you nobody goes and buys this. So let's see. Let's see if that happens. Bravestar. Now here's one that I wish I was able to include on my video. They just came out. Matter of fact, this is a pre-order for $168. I'm probably gonna have to get this because $168 gets you their Ironside jacket in 18-ounce dry wax. It's a traditional Type 3 trucker style, with the V kind of thing on the chest. 2 chest pockets, looks like a couple of hand warmer pockets, unlined. But $168, that is really, that's just amazing. Leather cowhide patch, flat felled interior seam, selvage detail, interior selvage plackets, 2 interior pockets, thank you. 2 exterior chest pockets, 2 exterior side hand warmer pockets, 100% cotton, 18-ounce. This is their 18-ounce rugged twill, which is sourced from Scotland's oldest and most legendary mill, and it's lightly waxed to keep your essentials dry and shielded from the elements. I gotta tell you, this looks like they knocked it out of the park. There's no back gussets on it. You know how much I love back gussets, especially for a jacket that's a little bit slimmer, which I assume this probably is. So sizing is going to be very important. They didn't have that. They also have their traditional classic star on the back, which some people don't like, myself included. I really don't care for that. But for that price, I'm willing to just go ahead and accept those things because $168, you could buy 2 of these and still come out ahead of some of the cheapest ones that I mentioned in my video there. That's really, really impressive. And it also comes in 2 colors. It comes in tan and it comes in like a dark blue, I think. Is that a dark blue or is that black? Bravestar, well done. This is very impressive, very exciting because again, that's mall brand prices, but you're getting some good stuff. So jump on this thing right away. The pre-order, these things will sell out guaranteed. I mean, that's for sure. I'm not helping it by telling everybody about it either. But, if you see this and you're able to get it, I'm happy because that's a hell of a deal. All right, we're going to go to the patrons only segment now. I got to tell you, I'm not feeling it. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling worn out. I have a lot to do and I'm lacking motivation today. I don't know what it is. There are some days that I feel great and that most of the time I do. And I'm really excited to come here and talk to you. But right now I'm feeling like I really just want to go take a nap. I mean, I've done a lot already. I have a lot more to do today. That's not what I'm going to do. Go take a nap, but I'm feeling pretty run down. And I think it's showing because my enthusiasm is starting to wane. So often when that happens, it can sometimes be the precursor to getting a cold, which I got to be careful about. Truly, though, I am glad to be here and glad to be talking to you. It's just been a hell of a week. And, like I said, you can only burn the candle at both ends for so long before it starts to catch up with you. One thing I want to say though is that if coming into the holiday season, if you find yourself feeling a little bit down or feeling like maybe you need to talk to somebody or whatever, I think it's good to find that person. It's okay to not be okay, and I think it's very important to have somebody you can reach out to tell that to, and that makes a big difference. It really makes a big difference knowing that there's somebody else on the end of the line when you talk to them. So if you're feeling that way, make sure that you have somebody like that. But also, if you can be like that for someone else, it's an honorable thing to do. And I think that sometimes checking in our friends is important. So if you have that person in your life who maybe you can check in on, I certainly do. I have people who I'll call a couple times a week or something like that, just to say hey and see how they're doing. Maybe you can be that for somebody else. And I think that's one of the things that the unsung heroes out there, because there are some people who you don't realize that you are their lifeline. And I think that's a very important thing to be. So anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.